So Scarlett, we always get asked what the day in the life of you, me, and the rest of us is like. What do you say to that? Exactly, that's my exact thoughts. I think we live pretty lazy and boring lives. Like, look at this face. Look at that face. Who wants to go help me feed chickens? I see one tail. Who wants to help me go feed chickens? If you had a tail, would you help? Is that a yes? You want to help? You guys want to help? No, 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 no. Get down. You can't come up on my lap when we're on the computer chair. You want to help feed chickens? You want to feed the chickens? She's looking at me like, whatever. Chibi, you want to help feed chickens? Yeah? You want to help? Want to help feed the chickens? Ooh, it's so gloomy outside. Oh, and here they come. Hi, girls. What are you doing? You're a lucky monster. You're a lucky monster. Hi, Blondie. You guys, watch out. Oh no, Juliet, you licked the camera. Don't lick the camera. My Sinclairsies. Quincy, why don't you go get a toy? Where's your toy at? Yes, and pretty much this is what a day off consists of: me getting my camera licked, hanging out with the girls, feeding them some watermelon. Chibi just came out to say what's up. Backyard's a mess, but yeah, it's a pretty cloudy day. Very overcast. Huh, Amy? Yeah, pretty overcasted. Scar, stop. Scarlet. I know, I love you. Here. Give me a kiss. Let's show the people at home what you're doing to me. Have a kiss? Get down, you gotta get down. A little bit too much. A little bit too much loving, huh, Sinclairsies? Yes, yes. You just don't know when to quit. Yeah, and this is pretty much my life. Everyone's like, oh my god, it's probably so hard having so many animals. And I'm like, nah, not really. It's like after, honestly, what was it? I think it was after we had 2 dogs. Like, everything else was fine. And then the chickens, well, I rarely ever even feel like I notice them. I guess I don't feel like they're very hard maintenance. I mean, I come out here and I feed them. I feed up their food and their water. And in that dog cage right there, or not dog cage, but a dog house, that plastic dog house, it's where they lay their eggs. So I'll come out here and check for eggs. They have free range of what once was my beautiful backyard with all this beautiful green grass and blah, 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 blah. But during last winter or 2 winters ago, it pretty much died. All of it died. Blondie over there, this hen right here, likes to think that she is a dog or a cat or a person. Scarlet, you be good. And yeah, another question I'm always asked is whether or not my my animals get along. And honestly, the only ones that don't really get along are this one right here, Amy, this Wyandotte, with the rest of the girls, because they're just, I don't know, they're kind of men. Well, no, it's not that. It's just that they're not part of the original flock, huh, Blondie? Nope, not part of the original flock. So when I introduced them, let me clean this off. So when I introduced them to Blondie and Moyeja over here, they had already formed I guess you can say, a little group and a little yeah, just a little family. So she was the last one to join. So she usually ends up being the last one to do anything. They sometimes pick on her. And I mean, it is a little bit mean, but from what I've read, the only thing I can do, as long as they're not really, like, horribly, like, beating her up to the point where she's a bloody pulp, there's nothing really I can do. That just is how hens, interact with one another. And it's so funny because a lot of people are like, man, I would never have known that, a chicken or a hen was so mean, but they're freaking vicious little creatures. And Scarlett's always the one that always gets the bad rap because she's part pit bull. I'll give you guys like a background information on all of the doggies. Scarlett right here came from the local animal shelter when she was a wee baby, and we think she is a pit bull lab mix, but she's super tiny, like ridiculously small. But she's always the one who everyone always tells me nonsense like, oh, when you start having children, you better get rid of her, and oh, you better watch out with your cats and your dogs because with your cats and your other dogs because she'll kill them and blah 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 blah. And honestly, the most vicious one, like outwardly vicious animal that I have is this one. And we used to have a hen by the name of Jan, and she used to be like the little leader of the flock until someone decided that it'd be fun to pull out her tail feathers. And she was like the most vicious little thing, and she still is the most vicious little thing, and she just so happens to be my youngest dog and my smallest dog. And Amy on the other hand, she might not be able to scare the other hens, but she does scare the living daylights out of Juliet all the time. Juliet we got from a local breeder back in the day when I used to breed Shih Tzus. Long story short, don't breed animals. Because even if, oh my God, Scarlett, because even if you are, totally 100% responsible, like, I mean, Juliet and Sinclair only had 2 litters, the last litter consisting of only 1 puppy. And I mean, it's funny because you always hear these breeders who are like, oh yeah, don't worry, if anything happens to them, give me a call, I'll rehome them for you, blah 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 blah. Most breeders aren't like that. You give them a call and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear about your hardships and da-da-da. So when I started breeding animals, or not breeding animals, makes it sound like I'm breeding hens and stuff, but when I started breeding Shih Tzus, I honestly did it for just the fun and the love of it. And this was a few years ago. I got into it back in like 07 or 08. And at the moment in time, it was fun. I obviously didn't have this many animals. I just had the 2 Shih Tzus and see, look, what I'm talking about. They're so vicious. But anyways, just the 2 Shih Tzus. Quincy. Hey, psst, psst. Okay, drop it. Quincy. Sorry about that. Someone likes to eat poop. He doesn't discriminate. Bird poop, dog poop, cat poop, anybody's poop. But anyway, so I started breeding them back in like 07 or 08. And during the time, it was fun. It was nice. Blah, 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 blah. Well, in total, Sinclair and my other dog who passed away like almost 3 years ago now, Bunny, they only had 1 litter of puppies. And there was 3 in that litter. And all 3, I know exactly where they are. Their names are Zoe, Tricky Woo, and Cosmo. And it was lots of fun. It was really cute. Everyone loves puppies, blah, 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 this and the other. Well, fast forward about a year ago, Cosmo's owner, her husband had passed away. She was losing her job because of medical issues, blah, 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 this and the other. Since then, I've become vegan and all this and the other. So she gave me a call one day saying that she couldn't take Cosmo anymore. And like I said, everyone loves puppies, but not a lot of people like grown-ass dogs. And even though he wasn't that big at the time, he was about 1.5 years, everyone wants some tiny little barely had like their eyes open puppy, not this, already not even, because in my mind, he was still really young. He was still very puppy-like, but, they don't want this older dog. So whatever. So I had to rehome him, and at the time she had also, I don't know how the situation, I don't know how it went, but she had also ended up getting another puppy. But this one was a pet store puppy, and this and the other. And just trying to rehome those two was like a nightmare, because we had ended up going to a home, but he didn't mesh well there. And it's, like I said, it's crazy because most people, well, not most people, but it's, because that's not even true, because a lot of people will adopt puppies and they'll be like, oh, they cry too much, or oh, they pee on everything, or oh, blah 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 this, or oh, blah 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 that. Well, at least with puppies, it's like they're cute and they're small and they're tiny, so you kind of forgive them for it. But when they're older, it's like, oh, he should know better, even though, you know, he's never been there. So whatever. So he just wasn't meshing well. So I had to find him another home, and luckily for me, I found a house that had no other dogs. The two children loved him, this and the other. I'm still in communications with them. But it's hard. It really is. You know, a lot of people be like, oh, I'll always be there for these dogs. But I hope they know that these dogs live to be about, you know, 14, 15 years old. So not only do I have these four that I have to worry about, but I have to worry about, like I said, Cosmo and Tricky Woo and Zoe. And then there's Cooper, who was from Juliet and Sinclair's first litter. And what is her name? And Zoe, or not Zoe, Chloe. Chloe is one of their puppies as well. And so is Spunky. And so is Olivia. So I have like a butt ton of dogs that until the day they die will be my responsibility, because without me, without my want and desire, no matter how misplaced it was, to want to have puppies around, they've become my responsibility. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't realize, is that, you know, they think, oh, I'm just responsible for these dogs until they're like 8 weeks old. Then I find them a new home, and I'll try to find them the best home possible, this and the other. And then, you know, it's no longer my responsibility, but it truly, truly is. It's your responsibility from the moment they're born till the day they die. And a lot of people aren't willing to take that on. And like I said, it's just and not that I wouldn't say that I regret it. I can't say that I regret it, because all of those dogs are amazing, and they've brought so much happiness to the lives of their owners, and I would never take that back. I would never take that away. Like Spunky is my mother's dog, and I get to see her almost all the time when I go over there, and she is just the sweetest, happiest dog ever. She looks a lot like Juliet, but is about the size of Sinclair, and her just temperament and her personality is such a great mesh of both of them. That would be my ideal dream dog. Spunky I always joke about that Spunky should have been mine. And like I said, I would never wish them their existence. I wouldn't wish that they didn't exist or anything like that, but you know, I'm just going to have to just watch out after her. You know, if my mom doesn't want her anymore, or if this and the other happens, you know, she'll come back to being with me, because, like I said, she's my responsibility. And most people, even nowadays, don't even want to commit to one dog, regardless of whether or not they breeded it or not. They adopt a dog, or they buy a dog, or whatever. And the moment things start going wrong, or not even the moment things start going right in their life, like, oh, I'm going to buy a house, or oh, you know, I'm going to have children, or oh, this, or oh, that, or oh, I'm getting married, or oh, I'm moving away, they, you know, that commitment that they allegedly had for this said animal just disappears. And it doesn't just go with dogs, it goes for cats and my hens. And one thing that, okay, so you can't see everybody here, but I have the 3 hens, the 4 dogs, and the 3 cats. And to a lot of people, to a lot of normal people, that seems like a lot of animals. And it's really funny because me and Mr. Black are trying to have children. And one of the main questions we're always asked is if we're going to get rid of any of our animals. And it's funny because most people, you know, as you can see, these girls are really loud. but I have never, not once, been asked if I'm going to get rid of my hens, because, you know, it's a hen. Sure, it's loud, but, you know, whatever. What good could a hen do? And this little terror, even though he's a jerk, no one ever sees him as being dangerous because he's tiny. And then Sinclair has no dangerous bone in his body. I think the worst that could happen is that I trip over him and like kill myself on accident. Juliet is an awful terror. She would kill you if given the chance. Not that she's mean, but you know, she's just got it in her. And it's really funny, but no one cares because she's about 7.5 pounds. And the one animal that everyone always asks about is my dear Scarlet. And look at her. Honestly, this is her. She does get a little bit hyped up, and though she is bigger than the other dogs, that's just her only issue. Everyone else is just so small and so tiny. So, you know, when Juliet and Sinclair and even Quincy climb up on my lap, she is under the impression that she can climb on my lap too. And that's not the case because she's a little bit bigger. And though I myself personally let her on my lap, a lot of people don't like her on their lap. So it always bothers me because, yeah, it's horrible. You know, she is the one dog that I think I would trust with my children the most. And that's not saying that I'm going to leave said baby all alone with any of the animals because, you know, one never knows. Dogs, like people, have good and bad days. And children, you know, until they're a certain age that they understand what they're doing, they should not be left alone with any animal. And that's just my personal opinion. They should not be left alone with Scarlet. They should not be left alone with Sinclair. They should not be left alone with Juliet or Quincy or Blondie or Molleja or Amy or even Chippy over there. Because like I said, accidents happen, things happen. What if, you know, little baby B is, you know, hanging out and wants to pet the cat but accidentally pets the cat too hard? Like Vincent over here. Vincent's a really sweet guy, but he's kind of skittish. What if Vincent is hanging out with baby B and, you know, he goes and pulls on his hair and he freaks out? This cat has actually scratched me in the face before on accident, not on purpose, but he was so scared that he was trying to get away that, you know, he scratched me. I have a big old scar on my forehead to prove it. And, you know, accidents happen and you have to be prepared for, you know, everything. So like I said, it just bothers me. And it's not like I'm going into this child thing just on a whim, like I just decided to wake up one day to have a child and, you know, or whatever. Or even same thing goes with my animals. I did not one day just wake up and been like, you know what, I'm gonna adopt some dogs, or I'm gonna adopt this cat, or I'm gonna get this dog, or I'm gonna go drive down all the way to Boulder City to pick up this stray cat just to have it for a few months, you know, for a year or two. No, Chibi is actually 7 years old. She turned 7 this year, and she's my oldest animal, followed by Sinclair, who will be 4 this... Oh, no, he turned 4 in May this year. And, you know, and I'm in it for the long haul with these guys, and it just makes me so sad when people are like, oh, well, I've had this cat for years since it was a kitten, and, you know, it's 12, 13 years old now, and now it has, you know, now it has medical issues, and I don't want to deal with that. So they drop it off at the animal shelter, or they drop it off here, or they just let it go, and it's just terrible because, you know, they're family. Their family. I don't know where this rant came off of. This was just supposed to be a video and showing, you know, day in the life of an ale, or the animals at Black Ale Cat Farms. That's what I call my house, allegedly, Black Ale Cat Farms. But yes, this is it. Most people are like, it's so hard, I bet it's so loud, I bet it's so this, I bet it's so that. And I mean, yeah, these girls can be loud, and yeah, the dogs tend to bark. Oh yeah, there goes my vicious killer. But that's pretty much it. I mean, we live a really quiet, normal life. There's a few of us, a few more than at most houses, but that's it. That really is it. It's kind of a nice day outside. Like I said earlier, it's a little bit overcasted, but it's still kind of muggy and warm. And yeah, just giving these girls a treat. Julietta, come on. Stop that. So yeah, all right, everybody, say goodbye. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Scarlett, say goodbye. Say goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. Say I'm not a vicious killer. Tell her. Tell everybody. Tell everybody that animals are for life and that pit bulls just have a bad name. Because if anyone could meet you, they'd know you're the sweetest baby ever. Say you're the sweetest baby ever. Say goodbye. Goodbye-bye. Goodbye-bye. Goodbye. Goodbye.